I'm Raborn Johnson for Sample Library Review, and today I'm checking out Gravity 2 by Heavyocity. Gravity 2 reimagines one of Heavyocity's flagship libraries with new sounds across a wide sonic spectrum and the deepest sound design engine yet found within a Heavyocity library. This library is deeply thought out and provides you with high-quality sounds and a deep engine that makes it easy to create your own sonic signature. Gravity 2 is compatible with the free Kontakt Player or Kontakt 7.6.0. It downloads as 9.55 gigabytes and includes over 1,000 sound sources across 3 NKIs. Gravity 2 is available from Heavyocity for $449, but at time of review was available for the introductory price of $349. Many of you might be familiar with the original Gravity from Heavyocity, which was just a really cool instrument that allowed you to include impacts, transitions, stings, all of those kinds of things in your music, in addition to some really cool pads and textures. Gravity 2 takes Gravity 1 and just rewrites the playbook. There are so many different sounds within Gravity 2 that just go way beyond where Gravity 1 went. Gives you the impacts, gives you the stings, gives you all of those kinds of things, but many other kinds of sounds like rhythmic pedals and textures and just all sorts of things. There is a ton to explore here. Not only are there over 1,000 different sound sources, but there's actually the deepest sound design engine within a Heavyocity instrument I've yet seen, which if you're familiar with the Heavyocity name, you'll know that they are well known for their deep sound design engines. So this one, when I say this is the deepest sound design engine yet, that is actually saying something when you're talking about a Heavyocity library. As you can see, there's 3 different NKI files here. There's the Gravity 2 menu, which is where we'll start. There's the Menu XL, which we'll go into next. And then finally, we'll end up with the Designer. The Designer is kind of the meat and potatoes in that while the menus allow you to put together all sorts of sounds and you can tweak those in a bunch of different ways, the Designer just takes that to the next level and gives you 3 different sound design layers that you can tweak to your heart's content. You can create some just completely new sonic soundscapes, just your own sonic signature with this library. It's so cool. So we're going to go ahead and start with the snapshots. When I hit the drop down, you can see that there's 5 different categories, and among those categories, there's even sub menus in some of these. So for instance, we have rhythmic pedals in both straight and triplet varieties. We have textures, stings, transitions, and impacts. So a lot of that sound design kind of trailer-esque stuff that you've come to expect. And, tons of this is reusable across a number of different applications. So let's go ahead and do a few of the rhythmic pedals. We're going to do the straight high to start out with. And you're going to see that each of these keys actually has a different sound source. So you're not going to one sound when you select rhythmic pedals, straight high, for instance. You're going to, however many this is, a bunch of different ones. And you've got your keys down here that allow you to select, the key that you're playing in, if that's C or F or whatever. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. we're barely going to scratch the surface. There are just so many sounds to get through here that we're barely going to touch on each one. The thing that you need to understand here from the front panel is if you find one of these that you like, not only do you have the key switches to allow you to put them in the tone that you would like them to be in, but you can actually hit this expand source to keys. And then if you find a sound you like, it will take whatever sound it was and stretch it across the keyboard so that you can play it across multiple keys. So for instance, okay, let's take this one. We're going to stretch it, and we're just going to play it on several keys. So you see what you can do with that? I mean, there's just so much going on here. The engine itself, you can see that we've got the waveform here, which obviously you can start that, you can tempo sync it, you can double time it, half time it, all those things. You've got your filter and your EQ here. And then you get over to the macro page where you can set independent macros. We'll get into this a little bit more later, but each of these is expandable to allow you to change how the macro controls. The macro control controls each of these different pages. In addition to that, you've got the macro sequencer and LFO page. So you can set up an LFO to control all of these things. You can do a macro sequencer. So instead of actually just using the macro dial and manually controlling that, you can sequence that to control space and motion, drive tone, envelope, all of that. You've got your source browser so that you can move these around. You can move these sounds around and assign them to individual keys at your pleasure. And you can go to the effects page, which obviously always includes Heavyocity's patent and famous punish knob, along with a bunch of other effects that you can, set up to control the master sound. So a lot going on under the hood. And again, this is just one of the 3 NKIs. A lot of customization here. Let's go ahead and dive over to the next one. Let's go to the Rhythmic pedals low. So you can see there's just a whole lot to get through here. All right, we're going to skip the triplets and we're going to go over to the single pedals just to give you a few examples of that. So you have single pedal high, low in the both straight and triplets. So let's start with just like this one, Tearing the Fabric. And so you can see this is just stretching those across the keyboard. And so let's go to Barely Holding On. just lots and lots of stuff going on here. And let's just do one or two of these. So cool. All right, let's move over to some textures. So we've got atonal, modal, and tonal for all of these. And you can do those in individual, and then the textures themselves, which are layered. So I think when you do the layered ones, it's going to actually, give it a moment to load here. So you can see this is the menu, so that means you're getting multiple sounds, a different texture with each key. And just for fun, let's say that we wanted to actually sequence that. Let's go, I don't know, let's see, with the amount. Yeah, let's keep the amount full. Let's go maybe a comb shape. And let's take it down to, let's just go down to 8 steps. And I'm going to throw some drive on here, some saturation and some distortion, so that it really kind of, and you can use, these little arrows here. So this is your master control for that particular effect. So this is the out and the drive. But then when I push the arrows, it actually controls what the macro will do in response. So here with my drive, if I want the drive to go down with the distortion, but maybe up with the saturation, I can actually control that like that. So then let's say that I want to put some extra motion on there. So let's go down, I don't know, maybe just like 4. And we're going to make the rate kind of get varied along the way. Let's see what this does just for fun. And again, we just started. That's completely from doing this right here. So in a matter of just like 1 minute, we were able to go over and just completely mangle that to pieces, right? So and maybe we want to say, let's put some tone, I don't know, let's maybe make the gain on the high EQ go up. Just really, really, really crazy. So fun to play with. All right, let's go to the modal menu now. And let's move over to the tonal section. And you can really see here, these waveforms, these are long and evolving textures. So, I mean, these take a long time to loop, so they have a lot of uniqueness built into them. So again, if we want to take something like that and kind of go a little crazy with it, we can turn on that macro sequencer. And we can say, let's take the drive and just go a little wild. Let's put it on tape 2 and like really pump that drive up and maybe throw just a little bit of bite on there whenever the macro goes up, so that when we're doing it with the sequencer, we're going to get, if we want to change the shape so that it just builds. Just really, really cool. So much fun. All right, so those were our textures. Let's go over to our stings and just see what's going on here. So this is our guitar effects menu. I mean, golly, so many cool sounds in here. And we've got a hybrid atonal and in high and low, the tonal in high and low, and we've got an organic atonal and tonal. So let's just try a few of these. Let's go to the low atonal menu. And again, if we want to go just a little crazy, let's turn on the macro LFO this time. And I'm going to pump up the motion and the drive. And let's sync this with the LFO. Let's do maybe an 1/8. Boy, you can see these kind of going crazy, huh? Turn that off. Didn't really make a lot of difference there, did it? Let's see, maybe I need to pump it up. Oh, I bet it's because I'm not turning this on. Here we go. There we go. And now if we turn on, let's say the EQ, maybe throw a little reverb. I mean, we can go crazy there, huh? Super cool. All right, let's go to the hybrid tonal high menu. And let's go ahead and jump over to the organic atonal menu. And the organic tonal. Oh, that's nasty. Let's expand that. I mean, you can turn it into a playable instrument just like that. All right, we're going to go ahead and move over to the transitions. We've got atonal high and low reverses, tonal high and low, a risers menu, swells in both atonal and tonal high and low. So let's just do a few of these. So cool. Let's jump over to the tonal ones, or excuse me, the atonal low. And then we've got the tonal high. Oh, love that. And we've got the tonal low. I mean, so much good stuff here. Golly. All right, let's go ahead and jump over to the impacts. We've got full menus, mid, sub, tail, and then the breakouts. So let's go to the full menu first. So I believe this is where it has the sub, the tail, what is that? The sub, the mid, and the tail all together. And again, with the selector over here, you could actually drag and drop these impacts, the full, the sub, the mid, the tail, so that you can control exactly where those sounds sit. And you can move the octaves so you can put them across the keyboard. Just lots of flexibility there. Let's do just a few of the breakouts here. Really cool. And the breakout too. Super duper cool. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move over to the Menu XL, which is our second NKI. And you can see that in the drop-down menu for the Menu XL, you're going to have a whole different set of things. So you've got category menus, you've got your rhythmic pedals, stings, textures, and transitions. And in your combos, you've got atonal nightmares, essential scoring elements, hybrid tonal and atonal scoring accents and transitions and impacts. So let's go ahead and start with the rhythmic pedals and the straight. And again, each of these keys, something totally different, along with your key switches to put it in the tone that you want it in. I'm just add like 3 together. I mean, just tons of fun. So you've got that in both the straight and the triplet. But we're going to go ahead and skip the triplet and go down to the stings. Let's try some atonal stings. That's really cool. Let's try the tonal stings. Really, really nice. And let's go to the organic stings. And textures, you've got atonal and guitar effects, and then you've got tonal, modal, menu. We're going to go ahead and jump to atonal and guitar effects menu. So many cool things there. Tonal and modal menu. Ooh, let's expand that on the keyboard. And there you go, you get something completely different that wasn't at all intended to be used in that way. But that's how flexible this instrument is. And then if you wanted to do some just crazy stuff with it, you know, throw that macro sequencer on there. Maybe do something, I don't know, let's throw a random thing on there. Let's change the tone a little bit. Maybe we'll put a filter on here. Maybe have it the resonance on the filter go up a little bit. Let's put just a hair of drive going up on the saturation with maybe tape 1. With space, let's put some delay on there, which I think would sound super cool. Let's actually just make the macro knob control that. And then when we come back, and I always forget how to get back to that sequencer. Oh, there it is. Duh. Right there it is. All right. Let's try this again. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, let's do a ramp on that. And you know, the more I'm thinking about that, the more I'm like, seems like we could do a better job with the gain what we need to do is really pull that macro up so that we're not going quite as crazy on the wide range. And I don't know, maybe with the drive, we need to go a little bit more up to make it a little bit louder. And then on our delay, I'm going to make that go even a little bit more crazy. All right, let's see what happens when we do that now. I mean, just super duper freaking cool. I love that. So cool. All right, let's do some transitions. We're going to do the reverse atonal menu first. And the tonal. I mean, these sounds are just so high quality. Really, really love them. All right, let's do the swells, and I'm just going to do the tonal. We'll skip over the atonal right now. I mean, you can see we're barely scratching the surface. There are so many sounds across these. All right, let's go to the combos menu, the Atonal Nightmares 01. Let's see what that's about. So you can see very akin to some of the other Heavyocity instruments where they map different kinds of sounds in different key ranges and color them differently so that you can see what those are. This looks like it's doing the same thing. So different kinds of sounds. This is really cool. All right, and let's jump down to the essential scoring elements. There's a straight and a triplet version. And again, you can see here with those different key ranges, you have completely different sounds. So down in the lime green color, you have kind of the rhythmic pedals. And then it's like you've got the textures here, and then kind of more of the sound design elements here. So let's go. Just going to create something. I mean, super duper duper cool. All right, and then let's go ahead and jump down to the hybrid atonal. I'm just going to go to the low XL and see what we have here. And if I play one from each section at the same time, I get just really, really cool. All right, let's skip all the way down to scoring accents and see what we have here. Really cool. And transitions and impacts XL. And when we play several at the same time, we get and that was just random. I mean, how cool is that? All right, let's move along to the Designer. This, to me, is probably the meat and potatoes of Gravity 2. Obviously, with the two menus, you've got some incredible sounds, but the Designer, this is where so much of the sound design fun happens. So you can see that you've got 3 different sound design layers here. And in addition to, the different sound design engine pieces that you had on the menus, you have some other new things. So the waveform layer is replaced with the macro page. The macros having all 3 sound design layers here on the home page. Then you have a mixer page, which we'll get into in a moment, which is just crazy. So it's kind of an XY mixer that allows you to record your own automations or, play the automation that's already here. You can randomize it, all sorts of different things. You've got the macro sequencer and LFO page back. Here you have a wave or the wave file or the sequencer that you can control. So you can actually, this gets kind of wild. You can actually control the start time and the velocity of the waveform. You can sequence that. So you could either play through the waveform, as in here, and, hit your start area, double the time, half the time, all of that. Or you can actually sequence it so that as it plays along, it's hitting different parts of the waveform and putting a different velocity on them. You obviously have, for each of the 3 sound design layers, the ability to add whatever sounds to those 3 layers that you like, and then back to the FX page. So I'm going to actually just play. I think the best way for you to get a hold of this is obviously to go through the snapshots, and we're just going to see some of what's going on under the hood a little bit. So let's start with the very first one, which is Rhythmic Moods, All Is Lost, under the Cue Creators. That's just a really good way for you to see what's going on under the hood. You can see the macros moving. You can see the sequencers moving. It just really, really helps you to get an idea of what's happening. See that tone shifting? You can see that where across the keyboard each of these is stretched. So I'm going to hold down my damper pedal and hit another one. We'll move to the mixer page. The macro sequencer. You can see it's controlling the tone here. And the waveform. Just really stinking cool. See the automation happening there between the 3 sound design layers? Just, man. Ugh. You could just have so much fun with these. I mean, golly, you can have so much fun just playing around. Let's look at that macro sequencer. Oh, you can see the pan. There it is. See the pan getting controlled? Or excuse me, I said the pan. The tune is getting controlled somewhere. Where am I missing that? Where am I missing that? Alright, I'm not going to go on a rabbit trail, but somewhere that tune is getting modulated, and that's really, really cool. Makes it a lot of fun. Okay. Sorry. Cue creators, again, we're basically scratching the surface. Everything I've done since I've been in the Designer has been within this one little folder. So let's go to ambient moods. love all that modulation. So cool. All right, let's try a few tonal accents. Goodness gracious, I love that sound. Wow. Okay, and let's go to enters. And let's go to rhythmic beds. You can go to straight lows, highs, combos, and then triplets. All right, let's check out a few rhythmic beds. Let's see, we did the straight lows. Let's do straight combos. Just jump down to this. Okay. And tonal textures, you've got delicate and edgy. And the edgy. And there's just so many things. We're not going to be able to touch them all. Let's just pick one more category. How about we do the gravity impacts? And again, within each one of those, I've got all of these sounds that I can then map across the keyboard. That's crazy. Well, these I can't map, sorry. But I've got multiple sounds mapped across the keyboard. It's just nuts how much stuff's in here. I mean, this thing is just crazy. So going back just a moment to, for instance, the rhythmic beds, let's go straight combos. You can see the amount of stuff that you can do with this thing is just crazy. So if I like a sound, and maybe I want to get rid of that buzzing. So let's identify what that is. Okay. Oh, it's actually buzzing on this. That's interesting. Well, that is really interesting. Let's see. Oh, you can see it's included in the waveform. Okay. So let's turn that back on with all the sounds. And maybe I want to use the macro sequencer. So maybe I want to turn on for motion the gate, and let's turn that down to 8 steps, and let's use legato on that. And maybe I want to add some pitch on here. You hear that little bend at the end? That's so cool. I mean, there's just so much you can do. This thing is just ridiculous, the amount of depth here. And then we've not even looked at this. So let's go over to another sound. So this is the mixer page here. And you can see it's got the 3 different sounds that you can actually automate. So let's say I really want to randomize the drift on that and then just kind of scatter it. See that? And then maybe I want to actually just and I can record my own. So let's say I want to go. So now I can say. And it's going to take that rhythm I created and replicate it. I mean, the amount of stuff you can do in here is insane. This has to be one of the deepest sound design instruments, at least sound design engines that I've seen, and the amount of sounds. It's not just that you're getting a ton of different sounds, everything from pulses like rhythmic pedals to tonal things to textures and impacts and transitions and all that stuff, but the quality of the sounds is just excellent, professional, and just so flexible with the sound design engine. This is an incredible library. Thanks for checking out Gravity 2 with me today. So what do you think? Is Gravity 2 something you will be adding to your own composer toolkit? Comment below and share your thoughts. Make sure to like the video and share it with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check out SampleLibraryReview.com for more news and reviews, and stay in the know about weekly sales via our weekly deal compressor.